Bible study. Trust in God. Trust in God is foundational to our faith. It is not merely believing that God exists, but actively placing our confidence in his character, promises, and sovereignty. This study will explore the theological foundation of trust, its scriptural depth, and how we can apply it in daily life. The theological foundation of trust in God. 1. Definition of trust, biblical perspective. The Hebrew and Greek words used for trust in the Bible provide a rich understanding. Hebrew, batak, to be secure, confident, to rely on something or someone, Proverbs 3-5. Chasa, to take refuge, to seek shelter, Psalm 18:30. Greek, bestow, to believe, to have faith in, to commit, to John 14:1. In biblical context, trust in God is not just intellectual agreement, but a deep, personal reliance on his nature and promises. 2. Why trusting God is essential in Christian theology. 1. God is trustworthy by nature. Numbers 23:19. God is not human, that he should lie, not a human being, that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? Malachi 3-6. I, the Lord, do not change. Hebrews 6:18. It is impossible for God to lie. Since God's nature is unchanging and truthful, he is always worthy of trust. 2. Trust is a requirement for faith. Hebrews 11:6. And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. John 14:1. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Faith is built upon trust. To have faith in God means to trust in him completely. 3. Trust aligns us with God's sovereign plan. Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Trusting God acknowledges his divine wisdom beyond our understanding. 2. Scriptural exploration of trusting God. 1. Old Testament. Learning trust from the patriarchs. Abraham. Trusting God's promises. Genesis 12:22. God called Abraham to leave his homeland. Genesis 12:1-4. Without knowing where he was going. He trusted God's promise that he would become a great nation despite his old age. Genesis 15:6. He trusted God, even when asked to sacrifice Isaac. Genesis 22:1-18. Demonstrating total reliance on God's plan. Key lesson. Trusting God means obedience even when the path is unclear. Job. Trusting God in suffering. Job 1-42. Job lost everything but refused to curse. Good. Job 1:20-22. Though he questioned God's justice, he never abandoned his trust. Job 13:15. Though he slay me, yet I will trust in him. In the end, God restored him beyond what he had before. Job 42:10-17. Key lesson. Trusting God is deeper than circumstances. It is a commitment to his sovereignty. 2. New Testament. Christ as the fulfillment of trust. Jesus, the perfect example of trust. Jesus trusted the Father completely, even unto death. Luke 20:42. Not my will, but yours be done. He encouraged his disciples to trust in him as they trust in the Father. John 14:1. Key lesson. Trust is about surrendering personal will to God's greater plan. Peter walking on water, learning to trust fully. Matthew 14:20-33. Peter walked on water as long as he focused on Jesus. When he focused on the storm, he sank. Jesus immediately saved him, saying, "You have little faith, why did you doubt?" Key lesson. Keeping our eyes on Jesus sustains our trust, even in life's storms. 3. Practical application. Growing in trust. 1. Trusting God in daily life. Finances. Philippians 4:19. My God will supply every need. Health. Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Future plans. Proverbs 16:9. In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Steps to strengthen trust. 1. Daily prayer. Present worries to God. Philippians 4:6-7. 2. Meditate on Scripture. Memorize trust-related verses. Psalm 119-11. 3. Keep a testimony journal. Record how God has provided. 4. Surround yourself with faithful believers. Fellowship strengthens trust. Hebrews 10:24-25. 5. Take steps of faith. Obedience builds confidence in God's provision. 2. Trust in God in trials when facing uncertainty. Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart when feeling overwhelmed. Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you when suffering. Romans 5:3-5. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character hope. How to stand firm in trust during difficulties. Look at God's past faithfulness. Psalm 77:11-12. Refuse to give in to fear. Isaiah 41:10. Seek God's presence daily. Psalm 16:8. 4. Summary. Living a life of trust. 1. What trusting God means. Relying on His character, faithful, sovereign, loving. Obeying even when you don't understand. Surrendering your fears, plans, and future to Him. 2. Why we can trust God. He never changes. Malachi 3-6. He always keeps His promises. Numbers 23:19. He works everything for our good. Romans 8:28. 3. How to strengthen our trust. Pray daily for strength and wisdom. Meditate on Scripture to align your mind with God's truth. Obey God's commands even when it's difficult. Surround yourself with other believers for encouragement. Reflection questions. 1. What areas of your life do you struggle to trust God with? 2. How has God proven His faithfulness to you in the past? 3. What step of faith can you take today to deepen your trust in Him?